Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 214. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside the other world champion, Mike.
World champion, huh?
You're a world champion of something, Mike.
I'm still searching, apparently. Welcome, everybody. Today we have a very special guest in the show, Blake Mccarthy. We'll be talking about his awesome kaiju book on Kickstarter. Already funded, first time pitching a project, so, congrats on him for that. So, pretty cool stuff.
Book looks awesome.
Yeah.
Excited for that neon cover.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it really brought me flashbacks of walking into Spencer's and buying one of those posters with the neon markers.
Well, so I was talking with our good buddy Joe, and we were talking about coloring and how colorists today have gotten very dim, and I think I've talked about it on the show where I've kind of missed some of the lighter comics, like I Hate Fairyland, that were coming out years ago.
Yep.
And I showed him that, and he just that's exactly what I'm talking about. I want that, more of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yeah.
So
yeah, the retro wave color palette's really nice for that.
Yeah.
I know I've been going to that more. I don't know. It's just more. Even I've noticed lately with all my apps and browser stuff, any websites, I turn them to night mode or dark mode, just because I'm just sick of everything being white and blaring. I don't know what it is. I'm just there seems to be a shift in everything that I'm looking at lately. But yeah, I don't know. I just back to that book. It doesn't take much for me to read a book, folks. You just put giant monsters in it, punching, and here I am. I'll read it, that's for sure. So
yeah.
What's up with you this week? Anything new going on?
Dude, tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long week.
Yep.
Not much going on. I forgot to watch Bad Batch this week. That's how busy I've been.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Damn. I will say this, so our good friend Patrick updates me every week with a text message on what happened in Flash, because I don't watch Flash anymore.
He ran really fast and punched a guy.
No, I mean, so some of the one of the most recent ones was Flash wasn't even in the episode. I don't know if I remembered saying that, but he had Flash show without Flash in the episode. So every week these updates get more ridiculous. So how is this show still going? So his update this week I had to share with everybody. He says, Flash this week, something wrong. Barry wants to go back in time and fix it before it starts. The team, no, Barry, you'll mess up the timeline. Barry, no, I won't this time. Barry goes back in time, messes up the timeline. The shit writes itself. I mean, thanks for the update. It's good to know that I haven't missed anything.
Oh God! I mean, remember when we were enjoying the CW verse? Those are good times.
It's just too much now. I don't know. Maybe one day they'll put it all in a blender, and then I could just watch it all at once simultaneously and finally get through it all.
I think what killed it for me was the 22 episode length.
Yeah.
We have to keep recycling this, Barry's gonna go back in time. And it's become a meme among us personally, and I'm sure among other people, where it's okay, cool. And then every season, where I got bored is when they were just Godspeed's coming. I was really? Another speedster? We get it. They run fast.
Yeah, they run really fast. The new season of Castlevania came out this week. I'm about halfway through it. I was mistaken. I thought Army of the Dead was coming out this week. It's actually next Friday. So, but I was a week away. But Castlevania released, and I'm about halfway through it. It's pretty good. Not a whole lot of fighting yet. I'm hoping they're gearing up there, because they have to follow everybody's individual timeline, and then hopefully at the end of the season it's just going to be a big all-out war. I will say one of the vampires, I don't know any of the characters' names. I don't know nothing about Castlevania. I just like to watch it because it's a cool show. But she puts on this she calls it daytime armor or something, or like daylight armor, and it's like something straight out of Dark Souls, and the sword is like probably as big as the Cloudbuster. It's huge, and she just starts like slicing through people, like she's just like cleaving like 10 to 20 people at a time and just like laying waste to it. Like there's some awesome moments in that show.
Do you know? I love that show too. I didn't realize new season was out.
Mm.
Do you know, is Warren still involved with the show?
Yeah, his name is on the front of it, which I was surprised to see. I mean, we talked about the controversy behind him, but yeah, I was surprised. Like opening credits, bam, written by Warren Ellis, so they're still crediting him to the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we don't really get involved with that type of stuff usually, but it was interesting all the publicity behind it, and then Netflix. That's not like Netflix really, but
Yeah, but that controversy was so comics related. Not to get too much into it.
Yeah,
it wouldn't shock me if like someone at Netflix just like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, yeah. So, funny story for a person I work with. I always seem to be like one or 2 degrees away from some like fandom thing, but his daughter. So I don't know if I've talked about this, but his brother-in-law is like the head of Netflix animation, and his sister's the head of like over at Bloomhouse or something. But anyways, he said his daughter is interning was I don't know if it's animation or something, interning with something, but she's heading over to I think Portland to work on the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio movie. So that's still happening. And I almost I don't know if you had heard about that. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is doing a Pinocchio movie. I don't know if you knew that.
This is possibly the most fucked up thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah, I know. Are you still breathing? Pinocchio, if anybody remembers, was not a childhood story. Yeah, I mean not a child. It wasn't a kid's story. I mean it's definitely there's some dark shit going on.
None of those Disney movies were meant for kids.
Yeah,
like the original source material for those movies were not meant for kids. I should say.
Right. So
at least in the context that we know that today.
I can't wait to see a Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio. It was just really cool. I'm like, damn, she's going to work with Guillermo. That's pretty wild.
That'll get me in the door. Just this phrase, Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio movie, is enough to sell a ticket to me.
Yeah,
I'm like, I gotta see what this is.
What the hell? Why not? I just want to see what and it's going to be all like practical effects. That's the best part about it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for Pinocchio to haunt my dreams.
Yep. Anyways, I guess we'll just jump into the news. TV news, Entertainment Weekly. We finally got a first look at Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelations, I believe. They also announced the series is going to hit Netflix July 23rd. So, yes, please. I've always been a big fan of He-Man. Watched it as a kid. The screen grabs they showed, surprise, He-Man's going to be in it every movie. So,
and it fits like that style that everybody's using.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just it's gotten generic at this point.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll watch it.
Oh, yeah, I'm down. Yeah. I mean, Mark Hamill's Skeletor, if I remember correctly. I mean,
what else do you need to watch it besides that?
Yeah, like I'm not even a big He-Man guy, and I guess this takes place after the original series. Never watched that series. I'll still at least check this out because Kevin Smith and Mark Hamill.
Yeah, come on. What more do you need?
Yeah.
Movie news. We got the Venom 2 trailer, and it looks a lot like the Venom 1 trailer. I mean, I guess it isn't a bad thing. This is Sony, right?
Yeah, in association with Marvel.
Yeah, and they, you could tell they, the first one was like meh, and they made a lot of money. I mean, it wasn't a terrible movie. It was fun to watch. I remember they made a boatload of money off of it. So I think they just went like copy paste with the safe route, add Woody Harrelson. Carnage doesn't look that different than Venom in the trailer.
I mean, to be fair, even in the comics, he's just red Venom.
Yeah, true. But I was expecting like more bright red. I do love the fact that they cut Woody Harrelson's hair because that wig looked awful.
That wig was terrible. Yeah. I remember like the first movie's not one I'm going to watch over and over again or tell
Right.
everybody to go out and see, but like it was fun.
Yeah,
I'll
it
go
was
see this.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So two quick anecdotes about this. The end of the trailer made me laugh because if you watch it, it's Eddie walking in the convenience store and they didn't have his shipment of chocolate bars.
Yep.
So anyone that doesn't know, like there was a thing back in the day where Venom, instead of eating brains, ate chocolate, and that was because chocolate and brains have like the same component that nurture him. Okay. Comic book science.
Yeah.
So they added that joke as good. And then I was on Twitter, and obviously I followed Donny Cates because I'm in love with the man. And somebody posted like there's a secret villain inside of Venom 2 because people need content.
Right.
And Donnie just retweets it with the response like it must be Mephisto. And that made me laugh. It was a good moment during my week.
Awesome.
I'm down for this. I'll watch it.
I'll watch it. It won't be the worst movie I've ever seen, that's for sure.
No, it'll be adequate. I went in the first one expecting dog shit and was pleasantly surprised, and now I'm just expecting adequate, and hopefully I'm still pleasantly surprised.
Yep. Yeah, me too. So with that, let's get to this awesome interview with Blake McCarthy, and we'll see everybody on the other side.
And we're back.
Yes, check it out. Still got a couple weeks left on Kickstarter.
Yeah, do your kaiju, post-apocalyptic world, random religions. Let's do it.
Yep, sign me up. And then sign me up for comic book news, huh?
Yeah.
Last week, Marvel teased the trial of Magneto coming to the X-Men comics, and now we have the full story. In June, X-Factor will end with issue number 10 and is being replaced with a miniseries called Trials of Magneto with the same creative team of Leah Williams and David Baldeón. The series will have the X-Factor team investigating events that happened during the Hellfire Gala surrounding Magneto. I don't know what any of that shit means. You're the X-Men guy, so is this cool or is this not cool?
What world do we live in where I'm the X-Men guy?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so they're doing a Hellfire. I'm not even still quite sure what the Hellfire Gala is. Okay. I've got like the guide somewhere here, and it's like they put them all in like prom dresses.
Oh,
I still think Hickman's just fucking with us all.
Yeah. What the hell is going on?
I stopped reading X Factor because I just didn't care after a while. So I don't know. I might check this out. It'll probably be one of those things where I read Hellfire Gala, and then if it intrigues me enough, I'll jump into issue 1. But all in all, I haven't really dug the X Factor book, so to follow this team further doesn't seem like something that's gonna light my fuse. But it seems like Magneto is being accused of killing somebody. That's the essential of what you're getting here.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Big surprise.
Marvel has announced that for the first time, King the Conqueror will get his own series. The 5-issue series will come in August and is written by Colin Kelly with art by Jackson Lanzing. The series will delve into Kang's origin and force him to break the vicious cycle that has controlled his life thus far. Yeah, I mean, they want everybody to know who Kang is. He's going to be the next big bad. Everybody's going to buy the number 1 because of speculation. So,
yeah, I don't know this creative team, which I mean, that's fine because it was a year or 2 ago that I didn't know who Jed McKay is, and I really like his stuff now. So yeah, right. I'll check it out. It's Kang. I like Kang. It's time travel. I like time
travel. That's always fun.
It's Marvel. I like Marvel.
Yeah. This is pretty big. In August, Marvel will celebrate the Fantastic Four's 60th anniversary with an oversized issue of 35. So this year thing that they saw, like Batman does 75th anniversary, 80th anniversary, then we get 60th anniversary, 100-year anniversaries. Is there a reason? So we're getting the Fantastic Four's 60th anniversary now. Is that because maybe they're going to announce like a slate of movies coming up? Why did they just? It seems kind of random to me. I don't know about you to pick 60th, right? Like, we can make this a cash grab.
It's It's a way to make an event out of it.
Yeah, but
every 5 years you get this. Like,
you always do.
I right now we're going through the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and that's outside of comics, that's my big thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, so everybody's making a big fuss about it's the 25th anniversary. It's like, yeah, and 5 years ago was the 20th anniversary,
right?
And everybody's expecting, like, because for the 20th anniversary they announced Pokemon Go and they did all this great stuff, and now it's like it's the 25th and there's really nothing to talk about,
right?
And everybody's like, well, what's the big deal? It's like, because we do this every 5 years, and you can't just keep one-upping.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel here. Is like it's an excuse to do an oversized issue, which
Makes
is
sense.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, do it. It's whatever. Because when they did the 75th anniversary cap and then the 80th anniversary caps this year, and I get sucked into that, so I get it. But that's all it is.
Yeah. So issue 35 is going to be an oversized issue. It's going to end the story of Bride of Doom, and then feature a new story by Mark Waid and John Romita Jr. doing the interiors for the first time. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, bring Wade back.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted JRJ to do FF. And he's never done them before, so, and the dude's got to be in his 60s now. So this will be the first thing he's done since he came back to Marvel. Who knows if he's taking over the book? I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we'll see. I have a theory that Donnie's taking over FF.
That would be awesome. I would read the crap out of that. Let's talk some Liefeld drama.
I love this.
Liefeld's crazy. As previously announced, he's doing a series with Archie about their Mighty Crusader heroes, which we thought was wild. Recently, Liefeld announced he's leaving the book over a retailer-exclusive variant cover. The cover is said to have a spoiler for the story and the art, and Archie did say that they did not grant permission to release the image. How did that happen?
So an artist fucked up.
Yeah.
And tweeted an image they shouldn't have. Which, okay, that happens. They took it down as soon as they were told to. But, like, Liefeld went nuts on Twitter about this. And just quit the book. And said, fuck it, I'll do something else.
I don't know if that's the best approach.
I don't understand. Like, I don't mind Liefeld. I think he can be insightful and can be funny.
Right.
But he often takes it too far.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how a man can keep napalming bridges one after another and still keep getting work.
Right.
I mean, his audience must be big enough where it doesn't matter.
That's true.
But I will say I'm really glad I didn't order this book now because it's never going to end. And that's all I need is another book that'll never end in my collection.
Yeah. If it wasn't this, he would have like wrote the first issue and found another reason to back out. I feel like.
Well,
it's the first issue, but yeah.
I know somebody who's reading that Snake Eyes book he's doing.
Oh yeah. Still
not done.
Yeah.
The last issue is 7 months late.
That's even worse than Mark Miller.
That's Doomsday Clock bad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
So, I don't know. It's poor Archie, who had this big thing they were going to do, and they're going to bring back the Mighty Crusaders again, and then fart in the wind.
Well, maybe they could pick up Mark Russell or someone cool to do it.
That'd be awesome. Because the Mighty Crusaders aren't bad. It's just nobody knows about them, and they're always taken as kind of a joke. If somebody came in and did a real revamp and was like, we're going to do them as not grim dark, but serious.
Yeah.
There's something there. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of what I'd read, I guess we'll talk about that. What I read this week. I picked up that Bad Idea comic, Whalesville and Rocks and Minerals. It's a thicker issue. It combines two stories by Matt Kint. And one story is drawn by Adam Polina. The other one's by Tony Millionaire. They're both stories of inanimate. Well, the first one's about animals talking, and the second one is about rocks and minerals talking. They're both pretty. The art is really good by both artists. They're really hopeful stories, and I want to say like almost like a Toy Story sort of story, Toy Story story. But well, they're if I had like they could be like Pixar shorts. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, there's some lightheartedness to them. The fact that there's rocks talking are kind of funny. Uh, yeah, so I thought it was good. I mean, all the stuff that's coming out of Bad Idea Comics. I mean, the FOMO is strong with these, the fear of missing out, and I think that's the reason a lot of people are buying them. But when you buy them, and then the stories are pretty good, so you can't complain there.
Yeah, I keep hoping that they're going to pull a swerve and collect these in some way.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Nottingham #3. This is David Hazen, Shane Bulk. We had David on the show. I can't remember when, this last month, within the last few weeks. So this is issue 3, continuing the story of the guard. We're trying to find out who is behind all the killings of, and they think it's this guard that was a traitor, this guard that worked for the sheriff of Nottingham. He's held up in a religious at the church on religious grounds, so they can't go after him. But then we get this backstory of the church and the Crusades and how they're not so innocent themselves, because they're the reason that thousands and thousands of people died because they were killing each other over religion. So it gets into that a little bit, and then we find out the guy that kills himself, and he says that he wasn't behind any of it. And it kind of tries to steer the people away from the Merry Men. Did you read this issue?
I thought this book came out next week, so I didn't even pick it up yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wraps up with Maid Marian goes to the Merry Men and says that there's a tournament coming up, and there's lots of prizes and stuff that we could steal. So she wants to make a plan with the Merry Men. The Merry Men want to betray Maid Marian. So there's all these different pieces coming together, and it seems like it's going to happen at this tournament that's coming up. Magic the Gathering #2, Jed McKay and Guara on the art. You read that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, the Guildmasters meeting was awesome because, the leader's a dragon.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. You're gathering all these beings, and one of them's a dragon. So they gather everyone together because Jace, one of the powerful guild or planeswalkers, is still in a coma, and surprise, surprise, the one people in the guild pack, the assassins, don't show up, so they immediately assume that they're the ones behind it. The 3 planeswalkers say, okay, well, we're going to go find them, and they pretty much have the blessing from everybody there. And then we come to find out there's an old guild master watching that is probably the villain, and knows that they're teaming up now. So, I mean, this book's really cool.
It is, and I love the art style to it.
Yeah.
The artist is a really cool style that's really lending well to this world.
Yep. For sure. It's just really fun to look at and see all the cool stuff going on. And recognizing stuff from, there's a lot of stuff you can recognize from the cards. I feel like this issue, a lot of different characters, different races of people.
Yeah, and it's funny too because some of it I don't recognize because I haven't really played hardcore in a long time. But there's some stuff from the old days where I'm like, oh yeah, that character and that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's fun.
Geiger #2. You were reading this. This is Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Nice. A little more into the world of Las Vegas and the kind of different tiers of people and what they do with children. It's kind of messed up hearing that. They're kind of enslaved. There's a woman that is a servant, and she sees that a nuclear football, we find out, is brought to the head guard of the king. And she kind of explains to her children, she steals it and tells her kids, this is a nuclear football. This is something huge. If we can get to the part of the U.S. that isn't under this crazy rule, where I think the government is still in power. Is that what she says?
Yeah, the U.S. government still has control.
Yeah, so there's places where this apocalypse isn't taking place yet. But she ends up getting killed, and the kids get the football, and they take to the desert. There's this big, huge escape where they get out into the desert, and they run into the nuclear man, Geiger.
My favorite line of this whole thing is after Geiger saves them.
Yeah.
And everything. He just looks down and was like, "Got any good books?"
Yeah, you got any good? That's all he really cares about. And the king meets up with another bigwig that's head of the like Manhattan branch of the city, and she seems to be another person in charge. So there's different factions of people we're learning.
Yeah, I enjoy the world that they're building here.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. Geiger himself is still not fleshed out very well, but
Right.
he's really, he kind of has that Batman-esque myth to him.
Yeah.
Where like people don't really believe that he exists. And,
right.
Yeah, so
they think he's this giant radioactive man, like 20 feet tall, walking through the desert.
Yeah.
Seeing the mutated like bugs and stuff was kind of cool too.
Yeah, getting a like lay of the land of what's happening to the world, why people have to wear those suits.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
And then I had Patron number 2. This is Steve Orlando and Piazzalonga on the art. This is the book where several people kind of like matrix into this Superman style character. The first issue wrapped up with the head commander guy who'd been like in the lead in charge of the team for 30 years dying. So part of the issue, like they're investigating why he died. Everybody on the team is grieving differently because they are all so close to the commander. And the new guy on the team, it's only been his first day, so he's kind of documenting like how unstable the team is, and that's really why he was put there to kind of investigate like how the project is going. And then we get a glimpse of like the villain, who's like this rich guy who's, the way they introduce him is like he has like these cultists in his mansion, and they're like slicing open a shark to feed him like live shark babies because he's like a freak. Kind of gross. And I guess his plan is to take out each member of the team one at a time, and that's how he's going to do it. So we're getting more characters and what's really going on here. So it's just the story's starting to pick up. It's not bad. It's pretty good. And that's what I had this week.
So I got Batman the Detective number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly in this issue, Batman and Squire are sitting in the hospital talking about things and how Squire came about. You can tell at this point, like, Batman's kind of not all about the Robin thing anymore because he makes a lot of comments about, like, a little kid like you shouldn't be doing this and so on and so forth. But the big thing with this issue is we get a better idea of what the evil Batman group is doing and like how they operate.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. That like Batman actually puts a tracking device in one of their guys after interrogating him and sends him back. And the lead guy is basically as smart as Batman and knows right away, like, no, like you may think that you weren't followed, but you were followed. Mm-hmm. And ends up killing him because he was spared by Batman. Mm. And as we know from the first issue, this group is going back and killing everybody that Batman has saved.
Yep.
Spider-Man, Spider Shadow number 2. So in issue 1, Spider-Man ends up killing the Hobgoblin to save Mary Jane. So now all the villains, this is the What If comic, by the way, everybody. So now all the villains are kind of getting a glimpse of like, oh shit, like Spider-Man's gone off the deep end. And we end up getting part of the Sinister Six attacking Spider-Man, and he's just completely lost it. He ends up killing all of them and then mailing Wilson Fisk Electro's arm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, and then in this too, he ends up going to J. Jonah Jameson and threatening him because the Daily Bugle put out like Spider-Man's a killer, and even though it's true, he's still like,
you can't do that.
Tells him to fuck off. Yeah. So then we get that there's a new Sinister Six that's headed by Ock and Kraven the Hunter and a few others, and they're gonna try to find a way to take care of Spider-Man. That's kind of how we leave it. So I've been really enjoying it. I like the extended story arc of a What If comic. It's been an interesting development so far.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
X-Corp number 1. This This follows kind of the rise of the X-Men's corporate life. Because they have this corporation that they're using to do things for Krakoa. And what this issue really is let's get the team together. And then kind of introduce you to what the X-Corp is. So we follow mostly Angel throughout this, but we get a few other characters as well. And we find out that they're being extorted by somebody that they bought. They basically bought the corporation from somebody and then used it for their means. And that person is now extorting them with different stuff. And we kind of get that the X-Corp has their own kind of helicarrier thing. That's their headquarters. So it was an interesting book. It was a good little setup. I'll be interested to see where it goes from here.
Okay.
Star Wars number 13, which is a prelude to the War of the Bounty Hunters crossover. In this, we get two basic stories. One is Luke is training, and we kind of get the background of like he's actually putting in work and trying to become a Jedi.
Wow.
And then we get an interlude where they find out that there's been a sighting of Boba Fett. So they go to the planet that Boba Fett was in the Alpha issue to go talk to people. There's a confrontation. They end up figuring out nothing, but when they get back, R2 reveals to Luke that he stole a bunch of old data from the Death Star about different Jedi relics.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of sets up like places they could go in the future. But then it's revealed that Leia has had contact and knows where Boba Fett is heading. So now that's where they're going to move on for the story. It's good. I love background on like seeing Luke actually put in some work and not just like showing up and being a Jedi.
Right.
And nice. I'm enjoying this little story arc they're throwing together. And I did Justice League Last Ride, which I highly recommend. It's at this point the Justice League is disbanded, and we kind of follow Superman through most of the story, where he feels like he has to constantly be saving people, and you get this idea that, and I really like this, that Superman after a while is just tired, like he can't do it all.
Yeah, and
I like that because it gets rid of that whole thing of like, why doesn't Superman just always be saving people? Well, because he's not able to.
Right.
But then we get a call from the Watchtower, and of course Superman goes there and figures out, like, tries to find out what's going on. And that's when we meet up with Wonder Woman, Flash, and then Batman shows up. And they're all kind of, you can tell there's tension in the room, especially between Superman and Batman. And none of them really know who called them. Well, it turns out that Jon Stewart called them.
Oh.
So in this world now, the Oa and the Guardians no longer around. They've been destroyed. So actually Hal Jordan is in control of the Green Lantern Corps, and his costume design in this is amazing.
That's awesome.
And they end up are able to capture Lobo, who has killed all of the New Gods.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And so the team has to come back together to protect Lobo so that he can go up and face judgment for his crimes. And they have to figure out, well, Batman says, fuck that, I'm not doing that, because he's still pissy about something. Long story short, they end up coming together and figuring out where they're going to take them. But also we get kind of what happened, a little tidbit. And basically somebody died, and it really set Batman and Superman apart. And they really disagreed with the outcome of that. So I'm really interested to see where that dynamic comes from, because they are literally... Like, there's a scene in here where Superman goes to the Batcave, and Batman just basically tells him to fuck off and leaves. It's really great. Like, Chip's writing in this is fantastic, and I think the version of the world he's creating is really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. That's cool.
And then Heroes Reborn corner. I got Heroes Reborn number 2, which I really enjoyed. It's a Hyperion-based issue. We kind of get the background of where Hyperion came from. Tell me if this sounds familiar. He's an alien, last of his kind, who came down to Earth in a random, farmland.
Oh, okay.
Was raised by farm folk.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard this one before, huh?
And so then he raises up, and then we get kind of a back shot of like this world when Galactus shows up, and instead of Fantastic Four showing up because they don't exist, Hyperion shows up, and he literally just flies through Galactus's head.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's a great 2-page splash.
Yeah.
And then we come back to the modern time, and what's happened is Hyperion's been using the negative zone as kind of the phantom zone.
Okay.
So he's been putting all the bad guys away there.
Yeah.
And there's been a crack in the negative zone. A bunch of them get out.
Okay.
So Hulk gets out, and a bunch of other ones as well. And he gets to fight the Hulk, who's going insane because he thinks that there's another universe where there's these Avengers and he's a part of a team. So Hyperion just kills him.
Okay.
And then Gladiator. Gladiator's been taken over by the Swarm, so he's kind of reminds me of Parasite. Like, he's a very super strength guy who's brutish, and they end up bringing him back. And then we get to meet where Hank Pym is in this world. So when Hank created Ultron in this world, he became Ultron.
Oh. So
now Galactus has to fight Ultron. It's a great issue of just following him through a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to meet up at the end, back with our main character, Blade, and what he's doing. And he's thought out Cap, and Cap is kind of trying to figure out where he is. And then even he realizes, something's fucked up, something's not right. Because he ends up finding out that people have basically erased Captain America from history.
Damn.
And then the 2 side books kind of go along with the story in issue 2. So there's Hyperion, the Imperial Guard, which... This does what we really like about Crime Syndicate, where there's always these little bubbles that tell you, find out more in Hyperion and the Imperial Guard issue number, blah, blah, blah. So it acts as the last issue of a 100-issue run, in which the Imperial Guard comes and they've finished their mission. This is their big victory, but they end up coming in contact with the Brood. And this is how they get infected by the Brood, and then thus show up as that later in issue 2. And then there's Peter Parker the Amazing Shutterbug, which shows Peter's origin and how he didn't get bitten by the radioactive spider, but then became a photographer for the Daily Bugle. And there's a moment in Heroes Reborn 2 where they meet up with Pete and what he's doing, and this one kind of zigs right into that and continues Pete from there. So Pete ends up working for the Daily Bugle, doing all this stuff, and then is pals with Hyperion. Hyperion saves him. And then one of the things I didn't mention was that the Annihilus wave has been shrunk down and put in this glass city. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of this sounds familiar. But
like Kandor?
But so they were free from the Negative Zone as well. Well, Hyperion tells Pete, listen, just one of these guys, even in that miniature form, can still cause havoc and ruin an entire country. Right. Well, one of them does get out, and a bunch of them get out, and Hyperion kills all of them, but one of them survives, and that one ends up attacking Pete and biting him, and transfers the Annihilus virus to him, creating this mutated version of Spider-Man.
Oh boy!
So at the end of the book, Peter becomes this mutated spider thing, which I'll be interested to see how that ties up in Heroes Reborn. So I'll just say, all in all, I really enjoy this event. It's been really cool. I think all the books have been fun. So
awesome!
People just check it out. And that's everything I got. So Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and/or the show?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and they can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Fortress Comics _. Remember, everybody, give us the 5-star review on iTunes and review us on whatever podcatcher you use. It's always greatly appreciated. To subscribe, and share on YouTube, as well as comment down below and let us know what you think of the show. And if you want to go the extra mile, to go to Patreon at patreon.com/fortresscomics. Where you can find goodies there if you give us money. And if you want to follow me further too, I have the Club Valiant show we're doing every other Saturday. So next week we'll be doing Volume 1 of X-O Manowar from Valiant Comics. and also the Bat Friends podcast, which is now the new Bat Friends Adventures. So thank you all so much for listening this week. We'll see you all here next week.
Bye.